Welcome back to Limitless Health, the podcast where we go beyond just symptom management and get to the root of what's really going on in your body. I'm Kate from Aligned Natural Health, and if you've ever struggled with things like chronic fatigue, with brain fog, inflammation, or even been diagnosed with an autoimmune condition, this episode is going to be a game changer for you. Today we're diving into something that most doctors aren't even talking about, and that's the iron-copper connection and how it plays a massive role in autoimmune health. If you've ever been told you're anemic, or that if you've ever taken an iron supplement but you still feel exhausted, or if you've been diagnosed with an autoimmune condition and feel like your body is working against you, you need to hear this. This is something I've been diving into a lot recently, thanks to the work of Morley Robbins and his book, Cure Your Fatigue. And honestly, once I connected the dots, it completely changed the way I look at iron, energy, and immune function. And spoiler alert, if you think your body is low on iron, it's probably not. Instead, iron is likely getting stuck in the wrong places, creating inflammation, slowing down mitochondrial function, and triggering immune dysfunction. The real missing piece is copper. And today we're going to break it all down in a way that makes sense, and more importantly, in a way that helps you actually do something about it. And stick around till the end because I'm going to offer you a free screening to help you get the real answers about what's going on in your body beyond just blood work. More on that later. But for now, let's get into it. For decades, we've been told that fatigue and low energy must mean that you're anemic. I remember going to my doctor when I was pretty young and my iron was like a 4, and him saying to me, I don't even know how you lift your head off the pillow in the morning. He wanted it in the 20s. And so the first suggestion was, oh, here, take these little iron pills, you'll be fine. The other thing it really did for me, and a lot of people as well will find this, is that you end up constipated. Maybe there's a little bit of change in how you feel. Maybe your blood work shows that your iron levels are higher, but it's not actually solving the problems. The solution here, or the belief and the understanding here, is that anemia means we need more iron. But although that's one of the most common recommendations that women get, especially after the age of 40, it's also one of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to modern medicine. Let's break this down. Iron is everywhere. It's added to fortified foods. It's added to cereals. Did you know it's actually iron filings that's added to a lot of these things? So these are not even forms of iron that our body can properly absorb and use. It's even in our drinking water. And if you live in North America, you're actually exposed to way more iron than you need. Your body doesn't get rid of iron easily, is the second problem here. So unlike other minerals, iron can accumulate in our tissues over time. The body has no natural way to excrete excess iron, and it'll try and do this through heavy periods, and it can be helpful if you're donating blood as well, but otherwise the iron just ends up stuck in our tissues and causes more problems. Also, most people don't have too little iron, they have too much stuck iron. This is where things really start to go wrong. Instead of circulating freely and delivering oxygen like it should, iron can get trapped in our tissues, which leads to oxidizing and creates inflammation. Think about if you've ever used a cast iron pan and you leave it wet, what happens? It rusts. That's basically what oxidative stress is in your body. It's rusting in our system. And when this happens, things just don't function the way that they're supposed to. If iron is accumulating in the wrong places, guess what happens? Fatigue, brain fog, joint pain, inflammation. Sound familiar? These are definitely things that I've experienced in the past, and I had no idea why. These are the same symptoms that people with autoimmune issues just deal with every day. So why does your blood work show low iron or low ferritin? Here's the kicker. Blood work doesn't tell the whole story. Standard iron tests measure how much iron is floating around in the blood, not how much is stored in the tissues. Your body could be overloaded with iron, but if it's stuck in the wrong places and not getting where it needs to go, it can still look like you're anemic. It can still look like you're iron deficient. And that's why so many people end up taking iron supplements or iron infusions, but they never actually feel better. And here's where the real problem is, because the answer isn't more iron. Now let's talk about the real MVP, and that is copper. Copper is the mineral that makes iron useful. It's the key that allows iron to be transported, prevents it from oxidizing, and makes sure it actually supports energy production instead of creating more inflammation. So how copper keeps iron in check? Copper activates ceruloplasmin, something I hadn't heard of in the past until I started digging into Morley's work. but ceruloplasmin is the master iron regulator. Morley refers to this as like the taxi that moves iron where it's supposed to go in the body so that it can actually give oxygen to the parts of your body that need that to function properly. Ceruloplasmin is a protein that binds to copper and allows it to move iron properly through the body. Without enough copper, iron gets stuck. It accumulates in organs like your liver and your brain, which leads to oxidative stress. Number 2, copper is essential for mitochondrial function. Our mitochondria, many people have heard in science class when you were in high school or beyond that as well, but mitochondria is considered the powerhouse of the cell because this is where energy production happens. But if your mitochondria is not functioning properly because it doesn't have oxygen or it doesn't have the energy that it needs, that's going to be a problem. We really rely on copper to create ATP, which is energy, cellular energy. Without copper, your body can't efficiently turn oxygen into energy, which leaves you exhausted and feeling sluggish. If you have autoimmune, exhausted and feeling sluggish is probably two terms that you've heard, you've experienced many times. I definitely did when I was after being diagnosed with MS. That was one of the biggest frustrations I had. I just had no energy. And it's like, what was going on in my body that was causing that? This is like my personal opinion, but it wasn't a deficiency of disease modifying drugs. It wasn't a lack of medication. It was a lack of the tools that my body needed to function the way it's supposed to. Number 3, without enough copper, iron becomes a free radical. Instead of helping your body, iron triggers oxidative stress, which leads to more inflammation, cellular damage, and here's the big one, immune system dysfunction. So if you've been struggling with autoimmune symptoms, feeling constantly inflamed, or dealing with fatigue that never goes away, it might not be an iron deficiency. It could be an iron dysregulation problem caused by low bioavailable copper. Okay, so how do we restore the iron-copper balance? Now that you understand what the problem is, let's talk about how to fix it. And this is where things get exciting because small changes can make a huge difference. Step 1, stop taking synthetic iron supplements. If your doctor told you that you're anemic and gave you iron pills, I want you to ask, did they actually help? For most people, synthetic iron doesn't fix the problem. It just adds more iron to the system without fixing why it's not being used properly in the first place. Step 2, increase bioavailable copper. The best way that you can do this, and an easy way that you can do this, is through real food. Some of the best sources you can get copper in are things like beef liver, which yes is considered nature's multivitamin. You can also do desiccated or beef liver supplements as well, because many people can't stomach beef liver. I am one of those people. We tried so hard. We added onions, we added bacon. It ruined the bacon. Yeah, beef liver was not something that I can consume other than when it's ground in with ground beef. So we actually buy, it's 80-20. So it's 80% ground beef and 20% organs. And it's a whole range of organs, but liver is definitely one of them. If you can tolerate that, that's a really good source, a natural source, or you can use beef liver supplements as well. You can get lots of varieties of those now too. Sourcing is very important when it comes to supplements, so make sure it's a good quality one. Another place you can get copper is bee pollen. Bee pollen is something that you can buy at pretty much any health food store. And so adding some of that to yogurt, to smoothies, to your foods in general can be a very helpful way to get copper. And then whole food vitamin C sources. So this is one that I've been talking a bunch about recently as well, because through 2020 and all the shenanigans around there, a lot of people were taking a lot more vitamin C, but it wasn't the right source of vitamin C. And the problem when you're not taking whole food vitamin C is it doesn't have the enzyme that the body actually needs to break it down and use it. And so that can actually make the body less able to use copper because it's not the right form of vitamin C. So this is things like acerola cherry, camu berry. You can get powders at most health food stores, and then when you get the powder, you can add it to, again, a smoothie or something that you're consuming. And then the last one for ways to get bioavailable copper in a dairy format is grass-fed dairy can be helpful here if dairy is something that you tolerate. Step 3 is we want to optimize magnesium and minerals. Magnesium helps the body regulate the iron and copper balance. And most people are severely deficient in magnesium. So focus on whole food sources and a high quality magnesium or a high quality magnesium supplement as well. These are some of the key principles behind Dr. Morley's root cause protocol, and can be, I've seen firsthand how powerful they can be. When you correct this imbalance and start to see real shifts, it's amazing. It's energy levels, inflammation, brain function, even immune regulation can improve from these simple changes. So, if this episode resonated with you at all and you're thinking, wow, this could actually be what's going on with me, I'd love to help you get real answers. I offer a unique approach that blends root cause testing, so a look at what's actually happening in your body on a biochemical level, with hypnosis and subconscious work. Because real change happens when we address both the physical and the mental, emotional aspects of healing. So right now, I'm offering a free screening to help you understand what's really going on with your energy, your inflammation, and your immune system. And if this is something you're interested in, check out the show notes. I'll put the link in there. Let's get you some real answers. So thanks for tuning in and listening today, and I'll see you next time. Talk to you soon.